Okay, so Twitter is not Twitter, YouTube already off to a good start. YouTube is telling me that I'm live, so hopefully I am live. Hello, if you are watching this live. If you are watching this on playback, this was live at some point, but this is something a bit different. I am going to be talking about the news today about Eurovision 2021, allowing backing vocals. And a few other little bits and pieces. I was going to sort of the edited format that I have been doing videos, but there have been some issues mainly with my memory card going missing, so that has been quite fun. But yeah, there will be more videos like I have been doing coming up soon, so that will be quite exciting. So thank you to everybody who is watching now. Hello to everybody in the chat. If you have any questions or you want to comment along, please do feel free to do so. I'll probably mainly go through questions towards the end of the video, or the end of like my little bit. I brought notes, guys. I brought notes. So yes, I will try and go through questions at the end, and I will talk a little bit about the vocal stuff now. So yeah, if you didn't know, the news came out today that the EBU and the reference group have decided to allow backing vocals to be pre-recorded at Eurovision 2021, which is a huge departure from anything that has been done at Eurovision before. It has always had to be live vocals. There have been cases like, there was a lot of controversy about Joust and like pre-recorded vocals, but by and large, every single year, every single song, there has been live vocals and there have never been pre-recorded. Other than Croatia in 1999, which did pre-record backing vocals and had points taken away. So Doris Dragovic would be getting some kind of vengeance right now. So just to go through, this is the exact wording of what the EBU have said today. They said the use of recorded backing vocals will be entirely optional. Each delegation can choose to use backing singers on or off stage, and they can have a combination of live and recorded backing vocals that is also allowed. All lead vocals, including an eventual use of a so-called lead dub, shall still be live on or off stage in the arena. So what that means is whoever is doing the live vocal has to be performing it live. The backing vocals, which ultimately you can use quite a lot of heavy backing vocal if you're in the chorus of the song or something like that. You can record that if you want. You don't have to have the 6 people that you are allowed on or off stage, as it were. It can be an entire choir if you want. And they have specifically said, if you pre-record the backing vocals, you can have as many voices as you want on that, which is something that I think is a bit dodgy, and I think it will help certain songs more than others. Now, unsurprisingly, I think there's been quite a bit of a negative reaction to this. I think with most things that involve change at Eurovision, there tends to be an initial negative reaction. I am less negative about it. I would say if it was up to me, I would still want entirely live vocals. I wouldn't change to a mix of you can pre-record, you don't have to, it's up to you kind of thing. The EBU has said that the reasons for this, one is to cut down on delegation costs. It's a lot easier for delegations not to have to fly over, 5 backing singers if you don't want to. There is a lot of, hotel costs, and obviously we are going through some real bad times, and the financial impact of that, particularly on some of the smaller broadcasters, is going to be something that is really going to affect Eurovision 2021. There will be broadcasters who aren't as affected by it, or at least still have the funds where they can send a load of backing vocalists or a full delegation. And I think one of the fears that people have is you get rid of the backing vocalists and instead you're going to have a load of, more backing dancers. Apologies if you can hear a siren. This is the magic of doing this live. You can hear all the things in the background. And I live in London and right near to an ambulance station, so it's busy. That would be something that I would usually edit out. So the whole, I find it a little, not disingenuous, but I think that there will be maybe some bad actors or people that don't take it in the spirit of what it's meant to be in terms of a cost-cutting scenario. The other reason that the EBU have said as to why they've decided to allow this is that it will make the contest more modern. And that is something that I can actually kind of get behind. It's difficult to say. You look at a lot of the national finals these days, and it's not just Melodifestivalen. And this is something that I really do want to talk about as well, which I will mention that in a second. But yeah, a lot of the national finals use pre-recorded backing vocals these days. Pretty much all the Scandinavian ones do. I think a lot of the Baltic ones do as well. It's a growing trend that pre-recorded is something that is just there. And I don't really think it affects things in the long run. I would never say that a song has won unjustly in a national final because it used better pre-recorded backing vocals. That's just my opinion. And I can't really think of any examples as well where a song has done well at a song would have won Eurovision in recent years had it had better vocals. I think that the best song, or at least the best overall package and performance, has won in recent years. And I don't think that, allowing somebody to have much better vocals would really have changed things in the long run. I've seen a lot of people have said, maybe Fuego. Eleni's vocals weren't perfect, but I still think they were good enough. I think it might have helped with the jury, but I also think Toy probably would have done better with being able to record, the looping and all those kind of things. So I honestly don't feel like in the long run, at any point really in Eurovision history, I can't think of an entry that would have done a huge amount better and it would have massively changed the future of the contest. Melodifestivalen, that's what I wanted to talk about. So a lot of people have been complaining that this is now also turning Eurovision just into Melfest because, it's another thing that has been borrowed from the Melodifestivalen franchise, I suppose, or something that was tried there first. And it annoys me because one of the videos that I've been working on, which actually I'm really excited to record and to put out, is a look at the 1956 national final season, because I didn't realize just how much was going on there. But you think back to 1956, you think back to the beginning of Eurovision. Eurovision would not exist without Sanremo. And Sanremo was a national final. It was the selection process for Eurovision, for Italy at Eurovision 1956. So the entire history of Eurovision very much is defined by other broadcasters trying something out and bringing that on and then them taking it on board at Eurovision. So yes, a lot of the recent changes have come from Melodifestivalen, and it's not been a varied list, but as the EBU said in their statement, you look at the running order, producer read running, what am I trying to say? Producer read, I can't say this. Producer led running order. Producer led running order. That's the word. You look back at that was something that came from Melodifestivalen. I think there were a lot of people that weren't happy with that at the time. There are still some people who aren't happy with that now. But I think that has really helped, especially when we've been doing Eurovision again recently and you look back at, there have been some dry patches in grand finals before, and I think that has mostly been fixed. And then 2016, the 2016 voting system is still one of the best. And the complaints that came through from 2019 when they changed that, I think kind of proved that it was a good thing that they changed it because it was so successful at the time. I do think that there is an aspect of, it does lose some of the magic. You don't know who is singing what. And I do think there have been cases at Melodifestivalen where songs have done slightly better because they've had a backing vocal. Thinking about Mendes in particular, I think a lot of his entries have really relied on backing vocal. But all the winners of Melodifestivalen, the songs that have actually gone to Eurovision, the performers can sing. So again, it's not like overall, in the end result, songs are being unjustly rewarded too much because of a backing vocal. And also, again, a lot of people are saying, oh, you don't know who's going to be singing it. Back to 1956, the Swiss national final, you just sent in sheet music, is something that I found out. Like, they literally, it was submitted without an artist in mind. And then the broadcaster was just like, well, we've got 3 singers. They can, pick, and we'll pick what song they sing. It could be a different person each time. The Dutch national final of 1956, Corrie Brokken didn't even show up to sing her song, but she was the one attached to it. So, yeah, again, it's not like countries also haven't done, who's actually the backing vote, who's actually the lead singer before. Azerbaijan, definitely in 2016, that was not Samra singing that chorus. Equinox, I will debate until the end of time who was singing the main female vocal for various parts of that song. And, the rules do state that even if it is a dubbed in lead vocal, so somebody on or off stage that is singing it and it isn't really the person front and center, that will still have to be live, which I think is a very, very important clarification. All it really will do for those countries is it will allow them to have maybe one extra backing dancer. And I will say, one of the things that I think has sort of fallen by the wayside, and I don't remember a huge fuss being made about this at the time, but at some point, and I don't even know what year it was, maybe somebody in the live chat will know, but at some point, having the lead vocalist, or having all your vocalists on stage, that rule got removed, and nobody really seemed to make a huge fuss about it. Because you look back at even entries like Shady Lady, which is a classic, one of my favorites of the noughties, that you can see there is a vocalist hidden like right at the back of the stage, dressed entirely in black, who the camera never really shows, but you can sort of see her in the background. She was there and singing quite a lot of that vocal, and it wasn't Annie Lorak the entire way through the chorus. But then suddenly, you look at somebody like Samra, or a lot of the cases in recent years, the backing vocalists are nowhere to be seen, but they are there. So, I don't really think that just because you can't see the backing vocalists, if it's pre-recorded, does it matter if you didn't know they were there in the first place? The production might be higher, but also, is that a bad thing? Let me just refresh myself. So yeah. So that's kind of like, I think that is quite a big thing. The other things hasn't really hurt or impacted JESC, Junior Eurovision. Pre-recorded backing vocals have been a thing there for quite a while. Ever since I really started watching it in 2014. In 2014, you watch Nadezhda Mizyakova, Sokal for Belarus. She's singing like an off part of the chorus, which happens in a lot of big songs these days. You sing the accompanying bit to your chorus, and I don't think it's really hurt any junior Eurovision song. And again, I don't think that a pre-recorded backing vocal has ever won a junior Eurovision entry. And the other thing that I have seen people say is you'll miss the vocal mess-ups, which has happened at Eurovision. Again, I don't think that you will lose them because the lead vocal will still have to be live. But also, you think back to like Isaiah or Manel Navarro, they weren't being covered by backing vocals at the time when they had their vocal flubs. So I think they'll still happen. And just because your backing vocalist or whoever is doing the lead vocal is live, they might mess up. They're not infallible either. So I think that there will still be occasions where you do get that moment. And it's never nice. It's not something that I think we should be celebrating when people mess up because you're messing up on a big global audience, but it does happen. So yeah, so generally speaking, I'm not against it. It is a one-year trial, so we don't know whether or not it will stick around. I suspect it will. The last one-year trial was Australia, and we're not getting rid of them, thankfully, because I think Australia at Eurovision is a good thing. which I know a lot of people will also debate. And I think it's going to be a case of let's wait and see. If it is blatantly abused by a lot of countries, I will be fully on board to say that it was a bad idea. But I will say that the history of Eurovision, there have been changes and they have worked out for the best. I don't think that, we've lost the orchestra, yes. We've lost, now fully live vocals. But I still think that at heart, it is a song contest. The best song and the best package wins. And again, you look back at the history of the contest, to begin with, it didn't really matter who was singing your song. It was all about the song and the jurors were voting on that. So let's not act like this is suddenly like the modern contest is ruining everything. Those are kind of my summary thoughts, I guess. Thank you to everybody that has been watching this live. There have been lots of comments as well. So we've got 2013, there was definitely backing vocals in the far corner in Baku. Yeah, I think it might be 2013. I still feel like there might have been somebody on stage in 2013 for Hannah Mancini. That's the one that I'm thinking of. And there were people like hidden in the background. I'm not certain, but yeah, I think it was sometime around then. It was definitely like 2013 through 15. I think that's when they started being phased out, being on stage. TACOM, all vocals should be live. All people who sing have to be on stage. That's my opinion. That is, there is no right or wrong thing. And everybody is completely entitled to their own opinion on this. I would just say, let's wait and see what happens. And let's see how much of an effect this has. Because if it does become an unfair playing field where people can have, an entire choir on your backing vocal and then 5 people dancing around on stage, that might also turn out to be a bit of a mess. You don't really know with these things, Sometimes having more vocals doesn't always help, particularly thinking, again, about Bulgaria 2018. Honestly, it's such a big known story. They say it's only in 3 years so far. They can easily revert it to 2022. That is true. Do you think children's vocals will now be used? That's Elliot's question. That is a very good question. And I actually don't know. That wasn't in the rules. I would be a little surprised if they did. But again, I don't think that it's going, again, everybody could do that if they wanted to then. But again, that does put you on the slippery slope towards what is happening with, are you going to allow them on stage again? They shouldn't. That is for junior Eurovision. And even then, I think sometimes the kids are too young at junior Eurovision. Yeah, a bit of it. I'm not certain on that one. It will also help, I think, I don't know who said it on Twitter earlier, but Polygenova might have been Elaine or Ellie, I think, maybe. But somebody said Polygenova, obviously they had to figure out what they were doing with the vocal there for If Love Was a Crime. And again, that would fix that. So yeah, I just really hope that that they don't suddenly come up with, an entire gospel choir in the background and then you've got a video of a gospel choir. There is the potential for it to go horribly wrong is something that we do have to keep in mind. But I do think that generally speaking, I imagine the first year people won't push the boat out too much and test the waters. It might be something where if they do keep it on for 2022, that's when they start doing it. It was Ellie, there we go. But yes, so yeah, I think it is. I think there are cases, with Joust, with Netta, where I think it would have really helped to have backing vocals pre-recorded, or to have something that would have allowed it to work a bit more organically, and there would have been less stress on the production team as well, because I think there have been cases where the production teams working on the shows, they struggle sometimes getting the levels right, and the amount of times in rehearsals where I see it have to stop and restart, and we need to fix this person's vocal and that person's vocal, and what's going on here. There was an entire issue in 2017 in Demi's jury final for the semi-final, I want to say, they had to completely redo it because the backing vocalist mic just wasn't on. So, and actually that was a case where that was actually the lead vocal, because that person was hitting the high note in This Is Love. The same with Ira Losco in 2016. Molly Petterson-Hammer would have had to, if we were using the current rules, Molly Petterson-Hammer would have to hit that high note live because she was singing that. It wasn't Ira Losco. Same with whoever was singing Samra's vocal in the chorus. They would have had to perform it live. So, let's have a look. CD, if they're just used to do what would have usually been done on stage, I think it's fine. If they do things that would have been impossible before, I would have more of a problem. Yeah, I think it will just mainly allow you to have an extra dancer on stage. The dancers generally that they were getting before could also sing. You would often see a lot of backing singer and dancer combos. So I don't really think it will matter too much for that. It's just that now, if you're, let's say, a Slovenia or like a Moldova, who usually can't afford big, extravagant, you know, they don't have a lot of budget, these countries sometimes. It's a lot easier now to not have to worry about bringing all the dancers, or you can get a dancer who can't sing who might be cheaper. I don't know. It's a bit up in the air about how exactly the prices will work. What I will say is, that was quite direct. I'm sorry if my arm suddenly came jutting out. I'm still doing it. I would like, if the EBU is serious about, we're doing this to cut down delegation costs, I would say put a cap on the amount of people that you can bring in a delegation. I think they already do, but let's actually bring it down and make it a level playing field and say, okay, you know, if you want to bring backing vocalists, that's fine. Maybe you have to cut some other people. If not, let's not unduly affect the people who would have been, you know, who can't afford to bring all their backing vocalists. We will see, particularly as we get closer to the contest, if the likes of, I'm not saying that the BBC is particularly well funded, particularly at the moment, you know, there's a lot of issues with the license fee. Let's not get into all that. But, you know, a bigger broadcaster, a Germany, a Russia, an Azerbaijan, people that have a lot of cash funds, but perhaps, if they suddenly aren't bringing backing vocalists and they're just pre-recording, and they're going to use the excuse of, oh, you know, we're not, it saves money for us. Whereas Moldova still bring an entire fleet with them. It's not going to have the best optics. And I think that this is very much a case of the EBU are trying to figure out right now what they're going to do for the contest. And I think it's a great thing that they are working ahead and planning things in now, so that countries have time to prepare and put the budget in. And hopefully we won't have countries dropping out, because I do think that there is a fear that some countries won't be able to afford next year. Let's wait and see. Hopefully this does save things, and it does mean that, you know, they can do it. Ellie is saying, I'm quite excited for the music, tech and production. It'll mean, oh, sorry, I'm moving the chair that the laptop is on. Quite excited for the music, tech and production. It'll mean it's now contest eligible, and so much modern music is manipulated voices. And that is true. And again, that is what they have said in the statement. This is about trying to bring the contest into a slightly more modern format. And, you know, I miss live music. I miss the orchestra to a degree, but it was the right decision at the time to move the contest into a more modern setting and more modern music to get rid of the orchestra. You know, you could already see in the 90s, a lot of people were, you know, bringing computers on stage, thinking back to Gina G, because they had to have the live instrument on stage. And that was getting a bit ridiculous. And as more modern music does start to bring in different production techniques, I hope it doesn't mean that some countries figure out a loophole that allows them to use heavy auto-tune on a live vocal. It shouldn't, but yeah, I am excited though. I would love to see what somebody like Aneta would do with this kind of possibility and the technology that this does suddenly open up. but we will have to see. Maybe Netta will come back at some point. Maybe Eleni Ferreira will be back in 2021. Who knows? There's certainly the signs pointing towards that, I think, but who knows? Right, this has gone on a bit longer than I thought. I actually thought this would only take about 10, 15 minutes, but it has been nice talking to people as well. So yes, thank you very much if you have watched live. If you've watched on the playback, thank you very much for joining us. You can leave a comment down below. I will be responding down there as well. So if you couldn't watch live, you've got a question, or let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. Please do hit subscribe. Please do hit the like button, comment, share. All these things really do help. It has been ridiculous the amount of love and support that this channel has got so far. To be nearly at 300 subscribers already with only 3 videos is crazy. There will be new videos and new edited videos. I am really looking forward to the 1956 national final one, and I'm looking forward to as well. I've got one about last place songs, and my favorite ones of them. So they are coming up. I am going to talk about my experience at Eurovision. That one might be a live video too. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see that more of a live one and more like a chat, and people can ask along what they think, what they want to know, because I think that'll be better than an edited video. So yeah, and I will try and learn things like OBS and make this a bit more interactive. But anyway, thank you very much everybody for watching, and I will hopefully speak to you all soon. I don't know how to end this other than like, bye guys.